What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Zen Reviews. This time, we are back with our Shovel Knight series, and this time, we're gonna explore and review the second campaign, Plague of Shadows. So, first of all, another quick, brief story about who is Plague Knight? What is Plague Knight? Plague of Shadows. Again, another campaign in the treasure trove of Shovel Knight. But this time with a little bit of twist. Plague Knight is an alchemist, and he ended up joining the Order of No Quarter. But instead of fighting only Shovel Knight, which would make the game very short, Plague Knight is in a quest. A quest to make the best potion ever. And all that just to impress his beloved alchemist partner, Mona. So yeah, you're onto this adventure as Plague Knight, trying to gather the essence of your fellow knights in this twist. So, let's talk about the levels first of all. Well, in Plague of Shadows, the levels play essentially the same in a way. They are designed pretty much the same as Shovel Knight. But the difference is, since Plague Knight is an alchemist, he doesn't wield a shovel. Instead, he wields bombs, various trinkets like a fish bomb, a vat, some explosives other than his main weapon, like a big bomb with a blast. He also has a smoke bomb, which works similar to the locket for Shovel Knight, and many other trinkets. He also has upgrades for his bombs, so you can have like orbit bombs, you can have cluster bombs, cloud bombs. Those are pretty interesting depending on the application. And for the burst, which is his special ability, like Shovel Knight, you have the shovel blade big swing, like a wide swing. For Plague Knight, you have a bomb burst. So each burst plays differently. One of them you can slowly descend instead of just falling straight down. Others you have like some icicles following you. Or you can just have like a somersault, like screw attack, like Samus. That one is one of my favorites. But yeah, those are just a couple of many upgrades you can find in Plague Knight. Alright, now let's briefly talk about the bosses, which are your fellow allies. Or are they? Well, just like in Shovel Knight, you fight the Order of No Quarter, and you even get to fight the Shovel Knight himself in your own stage. Since, well, it would be a little contradicting fighting yourself in your stage. But yeah, bosses play pretty much the same. But although they play the same, since the character himself, Plague Knight, plays so differently from Shovel Knight, you can mix and match so many different strategies. Like I mentioned the orbit bomb, for example. For enemies with a bigger hitbox, like Polar Knight, for example, he's massive. So orbit bomb is perfect for him, because instead of just throwing the bombs, even though throwing the bombs is pretty chill as well, I just prefer that way, and he just vanished so fast. I love it, that combo. But yeah, they essentially play the same. For speedrunning potential, since I mentioned that in the Shovel Knight video, honestly, I think Plague Knight can be even faster than Shovel Knight, because the bomb burst can just send you in such a velocity that you can probably clear the game in like, I don't know, I want to say 30 minutes or maybe less. I don't know if you use glitches or not. But yeah, he goes pretty fast. The only like downside is that you can't really control it super well sometimes. At least, you know, if you're new to the character. And funnily enough, I struggle with Plague Knight for the longest time because trying to control the bomb burst at first can be kind of tricky. But once you get the hang of it, it's so chill. You just breeze through the stages like it's nothing. Well, this one is a little bit shorter since Shovel Knight and Plague Knight are essentially the same campaign, kinda. But the only difference is you're playing a different character. Which, again, is not necessarily a bad thing. There's a good amount of games that have that. Think of... I have a perfect example for this. Think of Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope, and Plague of Shadows. Think of it as Sonic and Knuckles, for example, or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You have the Sonic stages, Shovel Knight, but you have the alternate paths, like Knuckles has in Sonic 3. Think of it in that way. I feel like that's a pretty good comparison. So like, yeah, it's the same game, but just having those alternate paths and different abilities, it just makes the game just as enjoyable. So if you had a really good time with Shovel Knight, you more than likely gonna enjoy Plague of Shadows, although there can be some tricky parts, especially like I mentioned, the bomb burst being probably the most complicated ability to use. But other than that, it is just a blast from start to finish. So yeah, there we have it. Another Zen review done. Time for the verdict, the moment everyone was waiting. So, Plague Knight, Plague of Shadows will get 9.5. Yes, this is still my S tier game, but since I have this small issue with controlling the character, and again, nothing wrong with having skill issue, that's just how it is sometimes. But yeah, that kind of reduces a little bit the score for me. And again, repeating the same stages, not necessarily a bad thing, but like if you played a lot of Shovel Knight, which in my case I have like almost 300 hours on the 4 games combined, and I played the main campaign a lot. I think I have like 20 hours on Shovel of Hope alone. So yeah, it can get kind of like samey, I guess. But again, it is very enjoyable, and I like having new ways to explore older stages. Like I gave the example of like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You have like blasting speedy with Sonic, and you can have the more methodical gliding, punching walls with Knuckles. So that's the best comparison I can think of. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up another Zen reviews. So, hope you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I'll see you guys in the next one.